So, hello everybody. My name is Tautvydas, and as said, I will be talking about my trip to Norway and how it showed that no matter what kind of crazy experience you might have had before in your life, there is always something much crazier and much more unexpected to experience. So, to first give a little bit of background. This is my mom. My mom is a bit of a crazy person, and basically the reason why all of the adventures that I've had happened. We've been for biking to Tanzania, climbing Mont Blanc, and much more craziness. She's also ran a marathon and won it in Antarctica, and now is preparing for a 777 challenge. So, one day, I come back home from school. And she says, do you want to go on a hike to Norway? It was in the middle of school year, but I said, why not? What she failed to mention that it's a 134 kilometer hike across Hardangervidda with a 30 kilogram sled strapped behind your back, where each day you have to walk from 8 to 10 hours. And when I realized this, it was a little bit too late because my name was already in the list and it could not have been removed. So I had to prepare, and my preparation had two stages. First stage was the equipment. We gathered equipment for more than 2 months, and it was a lot of headaches and a lot of organization needed. But the more interesting part was, and I don't have pictures for this, but I want you to imagine, was the training. My training consisted of pulling a 20-30 kilogram sled, artificial sled, in an indoors track. And I want you to imagine this from a person's perspective. You just see a person, or especially my competitors, because they know that I usually run short distances. And just imagine a person that you are competing with, usually runs short distances, is pulling a sled along the track for like 40 minutes. Safe to say it looked like a crazy person. But that was what's needed for this expedition. So, the expedition in itself. We had cold days, such as this, and it was sometimes a little bit of hell, as you can say. But we also had really sunny days like this, where you would be just overheating because it was constant sun. Now, during the walking in itself, it wasn't actually that difficult, even though we would walk from, as I said, 8 to 10 hours a day. The most difficult part was our guide, because our guide was probably a Viking general in her past life, and was so concerned with saving time that every time we'd stop for a break, she would then, right after, start screaming, 2 minutes left, 2 minutes left, and I kid you not, I got PTSD from that now. But the second part of the trip was the camping in itself. The camping in itself was pretty difficult because first we had to set up these Arctic tents, most of the times near minus 20 degrees, and when in the tent, we would have to boil snow to get water to eat our meals and to generally drink and just barely survive. And as you can see, it was pretty difficult and stressful to do that. This video shows it especially well. I might seem like I'm having fun here, but it's, believe me, not. My brain is in a bit of emergency, you could say. This is how we slept. You can see different our sleeping bags, sleeping masks, and we both had the roles. I was responsible for cooking water, and my mom was responsible for organizing the tent. And this was our toilet. You might see that it's a hole, and that's the thing that we had to do every day. We would have to come to camp and dig out a hole and build a little wall for wind protection. But then came the most challenging part of the trip. So our guide, even though she was, you could say, a war general, messed up and thought that we were sleeping for 6 days, but in the actually we were sleeping only for 5. And so at the end of this day, she stopped us and said, well, I got good news and bad news. Good news, you're gonna experience a beautiful thing called night skiing. Bad news is we're gonna have to night ski. And believe me, this day we skied for 16 hours, covering over 32 kilometers. But it didn't end there. Because next day, we thought, oh, it's finally gonna be easy. But our guide lied to us. And when she said that, oh, there's gonna be a small 100-meter mountain. But in actuality, it was a 600-meter tall mountain that I had to cross with a really bad sled that was constantly tipping over, as you can see in this video. So that day, I dragged those 30 kilograms up a 600-meter mountain, surviving on cookies and rage. But what this trip has told me, especially looking at our company, as you can see, most of them are pretty old or middle-aged or even old, especially the guy in the back, he was 75. But everyone that was there said the same thing. Even though we've had crossed mountains, we've crossed oceans, people in this company had climbed the mountains over 6,000 or 7,000 meters, they all had something to learn and all had new, fresh experiences and had that eternal youth regained. Thank you very much. If you want to see the rest of the photos from the trip, this is the QR code to the Google Drive. Please, you're welcome to check them out.